Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today. So I want to come on here and talk about the viral Married to Medicine clip of Dr. Simone, honey, Whitmore, going off on not only her two boys, but on her husband, Cecil. Dr. Simone has been through it these past few seasons. Again, she has some decent boys as far as they've never been to jail. You know, they're college bound, they graduated. But it seems like they depend on her for everything, and Dr. Simone is tired of it. She is a woman at her wit's end. So this video went viral all over social media. We're going to go ahead and watch that now on top of, you know, TikTokers' reactions to it and Dr. Heavenly even speaking on the situation as well. So let's go ahead and check out the clip right now.
We talked about in high school, right? I got the Jeep, boom, Jeep was cool. But now we're starting to teeter towards Jeep not being so cool. So now it's like,
really? What makes a Jeep not so cool?
No, it's cool, but it's just like, I'm tired of seeing it. I know you tired of seeing it.
Tired. What we do have to look at, though, is your financial situation to see if you could afford to make any payments. I put some numbers. I did some figures for you. Hold on 1 second while I get my iPad.
I just want to say before you go, make sure whatever you bring out on that iPad is not going to cause me to pick up your pasta off your plate and feed it to the dogs.
Yeah, it might. Once Miles and Michael told me that they were going to be graduating this year, all I have been able to think about is moving forward financially. Basically, what I did was just calculate the Chase bill for last year, month by month. January.
Mama, can I stop you right there? This is going the wrong
Why does this have to be negative?
It doesn't.
It's factual information. Michael spent over $60,000 by himself on this card.
The Chase bill.
If I were you and I wanted a car.
This man, who is 22 years old, spent more in a year than what some people make in an entire year by himself, not between him and his brother, by himself, over $60,000 on a Chase bill. Okay, I'm already pissed. Let's go ahead and keep going. Because I only saw the small 30-second clip of her yelling. I didn't see all this backstory.
I wouldn't be arguing with the person you're asking to buy the car. But that's me. This needs to be shared so that he has a clear understanding about the value of money, about the value of just swiping a motherfucking credit card. So have you been thinking about where you want to go to law school, how you're going to finance your education?
I do have a mother who makes pretty good money.
I don't feel like I should be footing the bill for anything other than the roof over your head, that sort of a thing.
So when you start talking about law school, graduate school, and so forth, if you're not getting any support, right? If no one's helping you to do that, and it sounds like, based on what your mom is saying, that's what would be the ideal situation.
So the only one here at the table with an actual graduate doctorate degree is me. And how I did it was I got scholarship money and loans.
Your mom was not able to do the things for you that you are able to do for us. What about all the rich white kids, their parents pay for their way to do everything, and then they get out of college debt-free and are millionaires?
So what about all the white people who pay for their kids to go to school, be debt-free, and they still ain't doing shit?
Now, Michael's point is still a valid one. We are blessed. We are in a situation where we can help.
Who here at the table gives a about how hard I'm working instead of being able to move towards retirement.
Me.
He said that he thinks every day about what he can do to be able to give back to you. That's what he said. But then don't.
If I'm dead before he finishes law school, then
that can happen because God might take you away.
I'm done talking about this.
Oh, I don't care. Be done. I get tired of being the lone man out. It's always 3 against 1.
I'm jumping in.
Don't jump in. You can't speak for me because you don't think like me. You don't think like me. You don't support me on
Where did that come from?
It comes from my heart. It comes from my heart. The bottom line is you are so entitled is what this revealed to me. I'm done. I'm done. I don't owe you a mother thing from here. I've given you everything I have to give.
All right, so you guys just saw that clip. I've been watching Married to Medicine for years. I haven't got onto the new season. We're like 3 episodes in. I'm going to watch it, though, now that I've seen this viral clip. I want to get caught up. But this is really sad because Dr. Simone has done so much for these boys. And I get it. You know, when you have come from nothing and you worked hard to get it, you want to give your kids structure, but you also want to do for them. But sometimes you can do so much for your kids that it ends up hindering them. Because she made a comment that the only thing that her only job right now that they're grown, that they graduated college and now they're thinking about going back for law school, is to provide a roof over their head. The only roof that she needs to provide is the family home. As long as that's being paid for, if they want to move back home and stay in their, rooms that they lived in growing up, that's fine. But she doesn't have to provide a separate housing for them. This man is 22 years old, and I think the other one might be 24. They are old enough to get a job, either room together, get their own little nice apartment, and pay for it. Okay? The fact that he said, well, we have a mother, who should be able to take care of us, who should be able to, who can afford to pay for us to go to grad school. Notice that he didn't say anything about the father. He didn't say we have parents. He didn't say mom and dad. He said mother, meaning that Cecil has been a bump on the log for a while. Now, when the show first started, he was in IT. I have no idea what Cecil does now besides follow Dr. Simone around. And it seems like this has been a buildup in their marriage. Dr. Simone makes good money on Married to Medicine, but she also makes good money being a doctor. That is what she went to school for. And she still practices as a doctor, but she's getting up there in age where she wants to retire. Maybe she just wants to do the Married to Medicine thing and be a housewife and just rest. But she feels like she still has to grind. She's at the hospital late night and then coming home and then having to film. She's been doing this now for 12 years. She's ready to retire something, either the doctor job or the Married to Medicine job. And the fact that the bills are still on her, the kids want to go back to school, they're not talking about taking out no loans, getting scholarships. I get her frustration, especially when you are the only one in the household mainly providing. Because I don't think Cecil gets a check from Married to Medicine. I believe it's only the women. I might be mistaken, but I believe so. So everything is on Dr. Simone for this boy to fix his mouth and say, well, you got me that Jeep in high school. Let's think about this. You graduate high school about age 18. He's 22. When she got him that Jeep, it was brand new. That was 4 years ago. That Jeep has plenty of life left. So for him to say that he's tired of looking at the Jeep, not that the transmission went out, not that the brakes are bad, he's just tired of looking at it, so he needs something new. He has a sense of entitlement out this world. He has no sense of reality on how regular people live. And unfortunately, I have to kind of blame Dr. Simone and Mr. Cecil for that. Because I get it, trust me, wanting to do for your children, but you can't want to do everything for them that it hinders them. Because as parents, we're not going to be here forever. And at some point in time, you have to be able to stand on your own too. And that's how that's how I have to deal with my boys. There's certain things I'll do for y'all. I'll look out for y'all in certain ways. But you need to get your own apartment. You need to be able to pay your own bills. You need to understand how the real world works. Because I'm not always going to be here. I'm not always going to be able to do for y'all. And the thing is, I can see a spoiled daughter, but nothing worse than a spoiled son. Because at least with girls are not necessarily meant to be the provider. The man is. So imagine you're supposed to be the head of household and your whole mentality is, my mama got it. What kind of shit is that? Because I'm a boy mom just like she's a boy mom. And those two boys need to be able to stand on their own too and stop depending on their mama for everything before they mess around and make her wind up in an early grave, because that woman is stressed and she has no support or backing from her husband. So let's go ahead and watch some TikToks. Let's watch what Dr. Heavenly had to say, because this whole situation is sad. Everybody's talking about this right now on social media.
That scene was 10 times worse than what y'all saw. That's what the people say. Now, I wasn't there, but when we heard about that scene, because Simone was so upset about it, because they say Simone was like, fuck you, and fuck you over there. I don't owe y'all a motherfucking thing. And I'm feeling her. Like, these are three grown men. And my whole thing is this, and I'm going to take it back, because I love Cecil. I love. Cecil has been nothing but supportive to me, and he's been very kind outside of, the Twitter gate that we had years ago. I like Cecil. But for me, my man better be 100% on my team. And it's not always that way, because Simone told me that you have to let a person parent the way they want to parent, right? The difference is, and this is what gets me in trouble, because the people can say whatever they want to about me, but when I speak the truth, everybody want to break hell loose. Daddy work. Daddy make good money. So if daddy wants to do something with the money, he can do it. But if you're not working or you're not making no real money, you can't really be up and saying all of what you're saying. You have to consult with the bread man. The person who has the goal runs the land. The person who make the money talk the shit. You know what I'm saying? And men feel that way, and women do too. So this is the issue with a lot of relationships right now, where the woman is the breadwinner, and the man still got his male ego. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can see how these shows can make arguments in your relationship. And I believe Simone was 1000% real. Sometimes I think people be playing and, doing stuff for storylines or whatever. But I think that was a real scene. I think that, I take my hat off to Simone for showing her real side of what's going on. I have nothing bad to say about Simone. That scene was 10 times worse than what y'all saw.
Dr. Heavenly's saying some real stuff. It is hard when the woman is the breadwinner, because then you feel like you're the man of the household. And most women do not want to play that position. They want the man to lead. But you also have to lead in all aspects. Maybe I make a little bit more than you, but you also got to bring something to the pot. So you can't just say that, well, we can just afford to do this and we can just do that when I'm the one working and slaving to the bone. And then that's where the conflict comes in. Because Simone, for the most part, to me, from watching this show over the years, she's worn the pants in that family. The sad part, it seems like Cecil's just too broke to disagree. Those kids spent over $60,000 on a credit card. I don't know if it was in a month or in a year, but regardless, $60,000, some people don't even make that in a year. And y'all spent that either in a month or in a year. Either way, that's a lot of damn money. And he's still crying about wanting a brand new car. The audacity.
With Dr. Simone, everybody is talking about how the sons are lazy, but I'm more worried about the sons' potential for violence. Because listen to this clip.
Make sure whatever you bring out on that iPad is not going to cause me to pick up your pasta off your plate and feed it to the dogs.
Yeah, it might.
I have an ex like that. Every time the parent don't give them what they want, they can't drive the car or whatever, they're damn near flip the table, throw stuff on the floor, scream, yell, threaten the mama, and all type of stuff. I feel like that's the same type of person that particular son is. Because what do you mean, make sure that what you say is not going to make me take your food and feed it to the dog? And then she did like a little nervous chuckle, like, this is more than just a lazy.
Yeah, that was kind of disturbing. So I've slaved over the stove, or maybe it could be takeout. I don't know. Either way, I paid for the food. I paid for the groceries. And you think that if I say something that you don't like, you're going to feed it to the dog, you and that dog will be out on the street. Try me. Because I don't play by my food, bitch. Okay? Let's keep going.
Child, like, I would hate for my daughter to marry somebody like that, because I could just imagine him not getting his way, what he would do and say behind closed doors when nobody is watching. That's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. I leave room for error, but I just, it's something about him, and that statement he made just made me kind of...
Okay, so this entire scene with Dr. Simone, Cecil, and their sons was so infuriating to watch. And I shouldn't be surprised that her son, particularly this one right here, turned out to be such an entitled brat. Because Cecil behaves exactly the same way. The fact that Cecil was sitting there while her son, this one right here, is speaking to his mother in such a rude way. First it was, so, you know, you got me a Jeep and that's cool, but, you know, we need to get something else. That's how you ask your mother for a new car? Or when she's about to explain the budgeting and get her iPad, and he says, first, before you go get your iPad, you know, ask yourself if what you're going to tell me is going to make me want to throw your food out and give it to the dog. And what does Cecil say? Nothing. You noticed the whole time when her son was talking, he never mentioned his dad. He was like, well, you know, you make so much money, Mom, and you should be paying. Cecil has been a kept man for the longest. I know he used to work in IT, and then he got laid off, and then he started working in real estate. All I know about Cecil is that he dresses like he raided Chris Brown's closet in 2008. Like, he dresses like at least 25 years younger than the way he should be dressing. And because she gave these two boys, who are actually men, they are like in their 20s, right, everything, they don't appreciate anything. They don't even appreciate the fact that this one right here, ran up the credit card to $60,000. Who do you think is paying that off? I'm pretty sure it's Dr. Simone. And he's sitting there acting like a brat, almost like in tears because he's not getting where he wants. Okay.
You know, and that's the part that's disturbing. She's so right. Cecil is a kept man. And the sons are basically imitating what they see their father doing. The father is kept, so they want to be kept too.
Y'all, where did these kids get this food from? Look, they bought that from somewhere. And look at the pan. Y'all, look at this. These folks making drinks, y'all about to eat paper out aluminum pan. Look at it, look at that. They got paper right in there. This shit is nasty. Y'all should be ashamed. Y'all two right here, y'all gotta get y'all kids together. Y'all about to eat paper mache and lasagna for dinner. Y'all gonna be sick in the morning. So sweet and so nasty. Look at that. Look at the paper. Y'all see that paper right there? I made that up, but y'all see that paper right there? Waiting to get sick.
Why would they?
Y'all, where did these...
Let me rewind that. This is insane. Why would you put food that you're about to eat and feed your parents on top of like paper? Like, why would you not remove the paper and wash out the foil pans? This is very disturbing. Are these kids trying to poison their parents? Y'all know TikTok don't miss shit, bitch. That is disgusting. Wow. They got too much money for this foolishness.
When Simone pops off, I'm like, girl, calm down. Simone popped off on her family. I said, girl, I'm right there with you. Because what do you mean? The Jeep's not so cool no more. What do you mean the white kids' parents get to pay for their education and they come out debt free? And then what do you mean, husband? Well, he has a point. We do have the means. Who is we? Yeah, nah. That little scene, yeah, nah. They pissed me off.
So after defending Simone, her son Michael is on live running the whole household, talking about he's got a Tesla now, not defending her anymore. So after defending Simone, her son...
So I guess he got a Tesla after all. Okay.
I believe if Dr. Simone had daughters instead of sons, her life wouldn't look like that right now. It wouldn't be allowed. Like, the level of babying and grace wouldn't be there. Like, the expectation would be different if she had daughters instead of sons. If Simone had daughters instead of sons, I don't even think she would be married to Cecil right now. I think Simone would be focusing on herself, her own happiness. She would be working towards retirement. Cecil would be out in the world trying to fend for himself, and Simone would have told herself that her daughters don't need her for survival. The way that she put on that hazmat suit and was giggling and cleaning that apartment for her grown sons, the apartment that she was paying for, that would not have happened if she had daughters. That time when she went and got that separate house, that is the life that Simone really wants to have. And that's the life I believe Dr. Simone would be living right now if she had daughters instead of sons. She would not be sitting at a table with 3 adults who are like ready to take everything from her. She screamed out with so much emotion, "I have given everything that I have to give." And those 3 grown men are like, "Nah, you're not empty yet. Give us some more. Give us more. We know you got some more to give." We've all heard that saying, raise your daughters and love your sons, or love your sons, raise your daughters, however it goes. We've heard that saying. And this is why I think Simone's life would be completely different if she had daughters instead of sons. Sometimes you really can be sleeping with and or raising your enemies. And that is the case for Dr. Simone. She sat at that table with 3 grown men who are all against her. They all want to take from her. They all want to suck her dry. They want to take everything that she has and plus some more. And they don't care that she's running herself into the ground. She's working. She's going to work until she's 100 years old because all 3 of those grown men are leaning on her for survival. They don't care. I just don't think her life would look like that. That's my take.
So let's talk about Married to Medicine. When I saw this, I knew that scene was going to be some BS. Because why is that paper still on that pan? Like, I'm not sure if these boys cooked that meal or if they got it catered, but why is that paper still on that pan? Anywho, Simone's 3 boys are horrible, and I feel so bad for Simone. Number 1, Michael is very entitled, like she said, but it is her fault because everybody suspects us her favorite. So, however, him telling his mom, like, "Oh, you got money, I expected you to pay for my law school." Does he not understand how much law school is? Does he not understand that law school is a commitment? That he has not shown that he is capable of committing to things, really? I mean, yes, he's finally graduated undergrad, but that took some years and some transfers. But law school is very different. And him making the statement like, "Oh, look at how white people do their kids." Okay, well, next. And then he made the comment like, "Well, your mother couldn't do for you like you can do for us." Now you talking about my mama, your granny? How's she getting this? And then for Cecil to sit there and say nothing is insane. Eugene would never let those boys talk to Toya in any manner like that. And then for Michael to sit there and them all sitting there while Simone is sad talking about retirement, how she works so hard and how she wants to enjoy the fruits of her labor, and they don't care. Like, for me, my mom has been working at the post office here since I was 6 months old. I have seen her work weekends. I've seen her work overnight. I see her go to work at 2:30 in the morning when I'm still sleeping. I've seen her work 12-hour shifts for overtime. And yes, that's very different than being a doctor. However, Simone has to wake up when her patients need her. She has to work long hours. And that is her degree. That money is her money. She earned that money. So regardless if she's making $300, $500, $1 million, it is her money to spend, and she can decide how she uses her money. It's not her children's choice. That's entitlement. Especially when you have not proven to me that you are worthy of my money. That whole scene was horrible.
Y'all, I just watched a clip on Married to Medicine with Dr. Simone and her son and the whole family sitting at the table. And when I tell you That's one of my biggest fears as someone who plans on being wealthy, as someone who plans on providing certain resources to my daughter. I save and I invest for her. I am so terrified to raise a child who feels entitled and fears hard work. The way the scene started when he was talking about how he wanted a new car because his Jeep is out of style, like, you're grown. I just don't like that. Like, I feel like, okay, maybe for a graduation gift, but she already got you that as a graduation gift, and you're complaining to her about what's in style and what? And I damn near had a heart attack when she said that he charged $60K on a credit card. Like, that, to me, that would have been it. Like, that would have been it right there. Because what are you doing? Are you working? And then he has no plan on how he's going to pay for law school. Now, again, I understand a lot of parents, we work super hard because we want to provide for our kid. But I think where Dr. Simone messed up at was not educating him about hard work and what she's had to do to sacrifice for him, because he just thinks everything is supposed to come easy, and I don't like that at all. And don't get me started on what he said about dog food and how he would feed her plate to the dogs. Like, that would have been it. He would have been cut off. I'm sorry. Like, no. And I'm gonna say this. I wish my son would. If I put you through school, pay for you a Jeep, possibly considering buying you another car, and you sitting in my face after swiping my credit card because it has your name on it, but it's mine, and you spent $60K, are you talking shit? That is a clear indication that you do not want any more teeth in your mouth. It's not enough knocking some senses to these kids. It's not enough of that going around, because there's no way. It makes no sense to do all that hooting, hollering, yelling, stomping, and shouting if you're just gonna give it to them anyway.
Okay, so this message is for Michael and Miles Whitmore. It's come to my attention that you don't understand that when you pick one of these up from the grocery store, you're supposed to take the paper out. See how you take it out? Then you clean it before you put.
For these kids to have gone to college and now trying to go to law school, I refuse to believe that they don't have enough wherewithal and common sense to not know to take the paper off. They did it on purpose because that is what they think of their parents. They could care less. Papers on there, oh well. It was laziness. It was them being, entitled, not caring. These kids have bachelor's degrees. And you mean to tell me you don't know to take the paper off of the pan and wash it? Nah, that was on purpose. That's how they feel about the parents.
Simone from Married to Medicine is showcasing a very unique family dynamic between her husband and her sons, and I think that we can all learn some valuable lessons from it. And this is why I love reality TV, because it really is anthropology without having to go pay for a class. The first lesson is, and I think many of us can relate to this in our own motherhoods or with our own moms, but the strong mom becoming the invisible mom. We're becoming very clear that mom, Simone here in this case, can handle the emotional, financial load. She is the glue of the family. And then, her just taking on that burden, and as a result, becoming invisible. They just give her more, give her more, and give her more, forgetting that she too is a person on her own. Don't let the strong mom become the invisible mom. And that kind of leads to my second point. And this one's probably the biggest, and I don't like to talk on people's marriages because you don't really know what's going on, but now that I'm a parent, I'm very conscious of this. Kids mirror what they see, not what they're told.
Yep.
And I know that's a harsh reality, but this family dynamic is something that they have seen and learned from over years. Equity in your relationship with your partner that you're raising kids with, equity has to be visualized. Otherwise, the imbalance will only continue. And that is on Cecil. Very unfortunate, but that is on Cecil. And again, not to put more on Cecil, but
I'm learning, and again, I'm a student myself. I'm only 3 years into marriage with a child. This is our first year with a child. It's making me realize that marriage is the first classroom. How the parents treat each other will teach the kids how to treat the parents, is what I'm seeing. Because they're just mirroring exactly what their father has done. And I think it's making the inequity, and I'm not talking financial.
That's the truth. The father is a kept man. He's just there as a, something to look good on the red carpet, a storyline for the show. So the kids are mirroring what they see. The father's not working like that. He's not bringing in the bacon. The father relies on Simone for everything financially. So the kids feel like they're entitled to it as well.
It's making the inequity in their marriage so obvious that even the kids treat their mom how their dad treats their mom. And I guess, again, marriage being the classroom, where Simone's contributions are minimized. Like what she does is minimized, but yet it's critical to everyone's survival. That is why she is screaming. And frankly, on the verge of a nervous breakdown if it hadn't happened behind the scenes off the camera. Because why are y'all treating her that way? Now let's, ultimately now the kids, the boys are men aged, but still act like boys. They have not been taught how to have gratitude. You have to teach gratitude. And I think that when Simone, based on what that clip we saw, when Simone tried to teach or challenge those boys, she was instantly shut down by Cecil. I mean, Simone said herself she had to go drag Cecil out of his mama's house. Ladies, let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson. We can't just absorb this media, this content, and think that it's normal. We have to be able to learn from this. That's not the order of doing things for you to have peace as a mother and as a wife. Okay, and last lesson. I think so. I guess this is 5. High achieving women deserve softness. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm a high achieving woman. I'm an attorney. I have many side businesses, many side hustles, running a nonprofit. I do a lot, but I still deserve softness. And I'm fortunate that I have a partner who I communicate with and say, hey, this would have helped me a lot. And I don't know if Cecil is making enough space for Simone to have her softness. She is constantly masculine. And people who listen to those like red pill podcast type of thing and say, well, why are women so masculine? I think the ultimate question is why are men so feminine? They only want the soft life. There has to be a balance. And I'm someone who believes that there has to be an existence of both in everybody. But this Simone situation is when it's been taking over the edge. And I'm so happy it's televised because more of us need to be discussing this. More of us need to be vocal about what it is that we need from our parent partners in making things easier for us as mothers.
Person is saying that Simone just took her sons and their girlfriends on a trip to Jamaica. So again, this is why it's hard to feel bad for Simone, because you continue to spoil these entitled brats. That's what they are. They're brats at this point. The other girl just said that Simone gave the boy a new Tesla, and now they're on a trip to Jamaica. You can only be so mad for somebody else. They have to want change in their own life. Doesn't matter what we say on TikTok.
So let me say this. That scene with Simone and Cecil and their 2 boys at dinner was the realest shit I done seen in a while. And it was really good to see, especially coming from a black family, because I can relate. I felt everything that Simone was saying. I did. Listen, I think as black families that have money and have affluence, man, it's a struggle. It's a struggle because your kids 9 out of 10 times are the beneficiaries of your success. And when they've never had to go through any type of struggle or adversity to understand what that dollar amount or the value or what your bank account means. They don't know. They just know that they get to basically live in it, but they don't know the work that went into it. And so I get it. And I respect the fact that Simone was like, listen, we're going to pay for your college degree. We do that for our son, our 19-year-old. Look, we're going to pay. You don't have to go get loans or nothing. We don't want you really dealing with the government right now, especially what's going on with the economy, right? We will pay for your 4-year degree. That's on us. But look, you got some requirements. Your GPA cannot fall below this. There better not be any distractions. I don't give a damn about no girls. Like, you got to meet these requirements to be able for us to continue to pay for your 4-year degree. After that, you got to figure it out. We are a figure it out type of family. We will go with you through the first hurdle. The second, third, fourth, and so forth is on you, bruh. That's how we're doing it. And I do understand too. And listen, I understand when Michael's like, man, listen, my white friends' parents do yada, 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 yada. You got the money. Why aren't you doing it? Because that's what they see, right? My generation and the generation before me, we had to work our ass off to get to where we are. The money we have now we worked for that. We went to college. We had great jobs. We moved up the ladder. Whatever it is we did it because we worked for it and it was a struggle. We've been through adversity, so we know how to figure shit out to where now we have money and now we can enjoy the fruits of our labor, right? Regardless of what they say about DEI, the black families now that got their money, that has money now and live in these areas, we work for that. We work for that. And so naturally our kids reap those benefits. And now when they become adults, they don't know how to maneuver through life because they ain't never had to. And it's such a struggle. It's such a struggle because you want to give your kids nice things that you didn't have. But on the flip side of that, if there's no appreciation, man, they will take that and run. And the last thing I want to do is raise some bum ass men. That is my fear, is to push them off into the world and then they get with whomever their partner is and they like, man, you a bum ass dude. That is my fear. That is my fear. And so I understand Simone's frustration. Y'all, that is pent up frustration from years. Okay? And, you know, Cecil is more mild-mannered than Simone. I think when you first get with somebody, opposites attract, and I think that's what it was. But now raising kids with that type of personality can drive you insane because, especially if you're the breadwinner, you need some backup. They need to see a different voice. They need to hear a different voice that's not always Simone's because they can tend to tune her out, right? Because she's always the one that's having the conversation. I do believe Cecil should have... Listen, if you don't agree, I wouldn't have said nothing. If anything, he should have been like, look, my wife is working her ass off to support this. I may agree with my son a little bit, but I see how hard my wife is working. That alone should have had him supporting Simone in that situation. And I just felt like...
Now, her video goes kind of long, but she's saying some real stuff. And I think it is a balance, right? Because as parents, we don't want to see our kids necessarily struggle because, especially if you're in a position to do things for your children and make their life more comfortable. Because we grew up in an era where our parents didn't give a damn. If they had to struggle, we had to struggle. So a lot of us have changed that mentality, but unfortunately, it needs to be a balance. You can help your kids with certain things. You know, you can get your kids a new car, but it needs to make sense. Like, you know, my kids grew up in the suburbs. A lot of their friends have money. So some of their friends got brand new BMWs and Lexuses, you know, for their grad gift. I got my child a Hyundai Sonata, brand new, because I felt like at the end of the day, can you afford the upkeep of a BMW? Can you afford the upkeep of a Lexus? I didn't get a luxury car until I got good and grown and could afford the maintenance. Can you afford a $200 oil change? Can you afford $400 tires? No, you can't. So let's start with something you can afford. Plus, you got to give kids something to want to obtain themselves, right? So you start them more with like a nice entry-level car. And then as they get older and they're able to work for it, you know how good that feels to be like, you know what? I'm at an age, I grinded, I got my degree, and now I can afford to go get my own BMW, my own Lexus. People need to have a sense of self-worth and a sense of achievement. I remember when folks got mad at Kendrick Lamar for not buying his sister a luxury car. Because I think he got his sister a Honda, a brand new Honda Civic. He got what she could afford. In case something happens, she can still maintain it. So that's why I'm saying there's a balance you can do for your kids, but you have to get them, the 2025 luxury Tesla right off the lot. No, because again, that doesn't give them an incentive. I've seen videos of kids crying about brand new cars simply because the color was off. It wasn't the color, wasn't the brand. It's insane. Like, baby girl, calm down. We took the bus everywhere. What car? We knew the damn trains and the buses like the back of our heads. So I think that, unfortunately, Simone created these little monsters, okay? And, and I'm not trying to talk down about her boys because, again, they're very smart. They graduated college. They don't seem to be trouble as far as, like, them going in and out of jail. But she did create this, her and Cecil. So now it's going to be hard for them to rein it back because they're grown. So her continue to take them on trips and buy them newer cars, that's just not good. She needs to allow them to work on their own, earn their own money, and understand that, okay, when the rent is due on the 1st, I have to have the money. I can't just go to my mom and be like, here goes the rent bill. It's $3,000. You need to cover it. No, sir. You need to have a job and you need to be able to cover your own rent. And if you can't afford your $3,000 a month rent, then you need to go live somewhere that you can afford to be in. So it's a balance. It really is. There's nothing wrong with helping your children, but you can't give them so much that, they're ungrateful, that they're spoiled, and that they're disrespectful. There's nothing worse than people being entitled or feeling entitled to somebody else's money. At the end of the day, Simone works hard. She got her degree. She grinded. People like me and others, we worked hard. We got shit from the ground up. You don't owe nobody shit. Not no child, not no spouse, not no friend, not no associate, none of that. Your money is your money, and how you choose to spend it, who you choose to help and support, that is your business. Nothing worse than people feeling like they're entitled to your shit. So I feel Simone. When she went off, I feel her. Because you have people who have a sense of entitlement to what you worked hard for. So the whole situation is crazy, but tea sippers, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this entire crazy situation concerning Simone and Cecil. Cecil not having Simone's back, Simone's boys being spoiled. Who do you blame for this? And do you feel like Cecil was in the wrong? Or do you feel like Simone just needs to help her kids because white folks do it? I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Please hit this video with a like. Feel free to share the video. And I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.